Hello, everyone, and good morning. Welcome to our live feed update for August 8th. I'm your host, Taran Armstrong, and we are here today to update you on everything that happened yesterday on the Big Brother 25 live feeds. And once again, there's quite a lot to get to here today. A significant amount of things happened and continue to happen, both strategically and other. We're going to do that. We're going to update you on everything that happened. And with me to talk about all of the serial killer vibes is Chappell. How you doing, Chappell?
Taryn, it's very exciting to be here with my daughter. You know, you're like a daughter to me, of course. I don't know if you know this, but I just feel like, although we're pretty much the same age,
Stop making
you
me
are.
cry, Chappell.
No, you're like my daughter in this house. I promise. I just don't know. It's like a father-daughter relationship that we have. I'm sure we'll get into it.
Should we awkwardly hug now?
I think, mate, come on, bring it. No,
I'll just lie down on the bed. It'll be good.
This is gonna be fun.
Oh boy. Okay. So okay. I'm gonna give like a warning. This is like a cringe trigger warning. If you are wary of cringe, or honestly like just weird stuff. Weird stuff is happening here today. There's a lot to get to, so I'm just gonna sort of jump right in. But there's so much today that I wanted to share with all of you that unfortunately I have to like be a little bit precious about what I'm actually able to reenact here, because there was genuinely too much. So quickly recap to where we are right now. Riley, the HOH, Kirsten and Felicia on the block. Heisem won the veto. The veto ceremony is going to happen today here on day 6. This is what day we're talking about. And he's not going to use the veto. We all knew this. So Kirsten and Felicia will stay on the block. But the main storyline here is that there are two sides of the house. You know, Riley started this big 8-person thing. Jared ratted it out to the other side, and so Suri and their people made their own thing. They called them the professors, and there's many different subgroups within that. And so there's two sides kind of going at war, and it's becoming more and more apparent that both sides realize that they know of each other, they know each other, and so there's a war for like picking up all the pieces. I talked about it, how it was like Hungry Hippos yesterday. But crucially, I talked about this big soliloquy that Cameron went on last night, the night before, night 5, about how he was going to infiltrate the other side and that everyone needs to just calm down because he's got everything under control. So with that in mind, and with the fact that Luke has still not been included in anything in mind and that everyone wants to recruit him, we start day 6. Where Luke really wakes up with like a fire lit under his butt. He's like, in fact, I think he says that exact phrase. He's realized that nobody's been talking to him, and he's fired up about it. Do you think I'm brain dead? Do you think I was born yesterday? Come on. Apparently I got to start talking game with people.
Yeah, and both sides of the house are like, man, it's crazy that Luke doesn't talk game with anybody. I think there's even a moment where Riley says, Luke, I think you should start talking game to everybody. And he's like, is this not me talking game to you right now? Everybody's like, where's Luke? We should. Do you think the other side's going to pick up Luke? I don't know. Should we pick up Luke? Nah, probably not.
Yeah. And so because of like the extremely strange dynamic that's happening in the house, where there are two sides trying to pick up as many pieces as possible, and Luke is basically the last piece left on the board. Luke basically then just starts having one-on-ones. He holds meetings where he's basically like auditioning people for like, which side am I going to join? It kind of starts with Suri, who says, I'm offering you an olive branch. And then he later tells Corey, like, people are offering me olive branches. And Corey's like, are you accepting them? And he's like, no, I'm trying to figure out who I should like go with first. And Corey's like, listen, let me give you some advice. Never turn down an olive branch. You can, I'm not going to tell you how to play this game. Like, if you have your own morals, that's fine. But like, accept the olive branch, dude. And so he's talking with Sari, and he's talking about all these people, and he's talking about Misum, Misum, who is it? Hisum. Oh, it's Hisum? I thought it was Misum. And just really, I can't. Again, I'm not going to unfortunately go through every conversation. I thought I thought that was what this update was going to be like, but they're really awkward conversations too. The way that Luke talks game with people, especially that conversation with Corey, because Corey's trying to give Luke the same sort of pitch that he's been giving other people, like, hey, I know I'm on the outside of things. And Luke responds so like literally at times, where he's like, Corey's like, yeah, I just feel like I'm on the outside of things. So you're telling me you're in a thing. I don't know. What I'm saying is that if there was a thing, he says, so there is a thing. There's a thing. Aha. And then he's just like, no. What I'm saying is that, like, obviously there could be, if there was a thing, but I'm not a part of that thing. And Luke's like, okay, all right, I see. It's like, okay, but what I'm trying to tell you is that I feel like I'm open to working with people like the people in your thing.
This is weird. I don't know how often we find a game where the house numbers are so split and people are jockeying for every little piece. And then you have one piece who's like, pick me. And everyone's like, Corey's coming to him like, I'm at the bottom. It looks like, how if I'm at the bottom? Like, no one is talking to me. So someone said something for you to know that where you are in the structure, people just shut the hell up when I walk in. They don't talk. What are you talking about, Corey? He's like, I don't know how to deal with this. Taran, how often do people just not say, you are aligned with me? You are with me. Why are they so afraid to give this man a locked-in deal?
Because he's such a wild card.
He sucks. I'm sorry. They're afraid he's gonna talk, but I'm like, to who? If nobody wants him. If he goes to Riley, like, I'm on the other side, like, okay, like they were hoping you were.
Corey is like, okay, what I'm saying is that I feel good with you, right? You feel good with me. Look, yeah, I feel good with you. Yeah, it's fine. He's like, all right, well, that's good. That you should continue to talk to people. I'm telling you, accept those olive branches. And I think, we can make something work. And Luke's like, great. Yeah, just put a good word in for me with your group. Corey's like, oh, I thought we were done with this. Remember, I don't have a group, Luke. I'm trying to tell you, I'm not in a thing. I don't know what else to say. I'm not included in that thing. And Luke's like, so definitely a thing though.
It's ridiculous, but Luke's not wrong. Like, Corey, you are in a thing. You are not locked into a thing because, like Luke, people are really just kind of keeping you on the outskirts of whatever they have going on. But he's not wrong. You are in things that he just could never be in.
He like refuses to accept any kind of subtlety in the conversation. Very funny.
And they've all been working in this subtle area where nobody wants to. There's two sides of the house. It's that group and this group. Well, who's in those groups? It's us and then it's them. It's like nobody wants to say it. And then when you go to make alliances, people are like, and I'll look out for you as long as I can. And I'll look out for you too. And I think we can work together to an extent. It's like, just say it. Say you're aligned. They don't trust each other. This is the Sari magic. I know the chat's going to go wild. Boo, we talk about Sari too much. But this woman knows. You don't just go in being like, these are my people versus these are your people, because you need that wiggle room. And sadly enough, Luke is the one who is falling prey to this the first time. Like, if things go awry, both sides could target Luke and nobody would care.
Yeah, I think what we're seeing is that in a lot of houses where there's a lot of like recruits or people that don't know the show, the super fans will sometimes flame out on their own, right? But usually, like, if you're a decent enough player, you'll kind of fit into the vibe of the house. And so the super fans will chill out and play a little slower, a little safer. But what we're seeing in this house is that there's only a couple of people that don't know the show. And those people are having to match the energy, the completely cracked energy of the rest of the house. And so Luke is just like he's like a caveman that's walking into a city for the first time, and he's like, "What is happening with what is that? Why? Because I'm trying to get to the money. Well, I thought I was gonna win some money. What's happening?"
He walks in with his pizza, and the whole room is on fire.
Yeah.
He did not know what he was getting himself into. But to be fair, I don't think any of us have. Like, Taran, have you slept? I don't think you've slept in days. Look at you.
My phone keeps telling me your sleep debt has increased every day.
Like, I know, leave me alone. Sari is on camera. What am I supposed to do? And look, if we edit out some of the Luke talk and 99% of the Cameron talk, I think you can at least get a nap in.
Yeah, I mean, so like I started the day with all this Luke stuff, and I was just like, man, what a character, what a cast. This is so wild. Little did I know. So the veto is not used, of course. And Cameron is going to start up some chats. And he is first going to talk to Izzy. Remember, he's going to infiltrate, you know? He's definitely not just going to flip. He's just getting information. And in getting that information, he is telling Izzy about all of his information, or at least a decent amount of it, including the fact that they are looking at Hisam as one of their targets. And it's sort of like an opening here. He's just kind of feeling things out, right? But already being the wild card, the sort of liability to this handful alliance that I think most people could see that he would be from the start.
I think if you lock him in and say, you are with us, we are a thing, we talk to you, we like you, we appreciate your opinion about things, then he wouldn't be so easily flipped over to the Izzy side. Because what Izzy's going to do, and what Izzy does really well, is she's going to give you the most passionate speech. She's going to match your energy, and she's going to take it to 10. You could come to Izzy like, I really feel like I'm on the outs. Like, people haven't been talking to me. And she's going to say, and you fucking better believe we're gonna get our fucking revenge on those fucking people. You go up fucking stairs and you're gonna tell those fuckers, like, Izzy, Izzy, calm down. How did we get here? And she's like, I just feel really strongly about things. Yeah, we can tell. You can, but that's what Luke needs. Luke needs somebody to be like, I'm in here with you. But what Izzy does not say is, Luke, you're my number one. I got you. She's just like, so you go upstairs and you tell those bullies, we'll show them. And then he still leaves like, I still don't feel great. I feel heard, but I still feel like I'm at the bottom. Maybe I should have this conversation again with the other side.
Yeah, it's it's an opening conversation. And so we gotta keep moving though, because we gotta get to the other stuff. Corey works on his relationships throughout the day, primarily with Jared. He has an actual conversation with Hisam, and also, very importantly, I think, even though this is kind of like a small event in the day, another new alliance is named, and it's the Brown Sugar Babes, and it's Sari, Jared, Felicia, and Mimi. And of all of the, like, you got the bye-bye bitches, you got the professors, I think this is probably the most solid one, mostly because it doesn't include Izzy.
She is very much an energetic player. Thus, it makes it really hard to, like you said, settle into a pattern, or or the energy in the house to settle amongst the fans or the good strategists. Because Izzy, she's thinking so next level to where she has them paranoid about stuff they shouldn't be paranoid about. I mean, the Sari backdoor was a concept, yes, like we could perceive a world where Sari is the one who needs to go. She is Sari. It would, like, people would, yes, fault you for getting out Sari in the back door, but also at the same time, it's like, it's Sari, whatever, we move. It's she does not need to be in this game destroying everybody. Okay, we can make an allowance for that somehow in our brains. Not me, but somebody can. But because Izzy is so paranoid about any idea that anybody would come for Cirie, she's like, Cirie, I promise you, I swear, I heard them say verbatim they are going to backdoor you. Cirie's like, really? Because I'm Cirie, now I got to do stuff about that. So she never gets to settle into like any just like, we're in an alliance, we're in a good spot. Let's let the week play out. There are so many times this last 24 hours where someone said, can we just wait till the next HOH? Like, do we still have to do this? Are we still talking about this? Are we having the same conversation again? And I think it's Izzy's fault. So I don't mind them kind of putting her on the outs because look at what she does when she's on the inside. I'm sorry. She's great, but she's a lot.
Definitely a lot. We're probably going to get into more of this tonight. We're going to have the first Stock Watch Roundtable of the season where we'll talk plenty of strategy. But it is very interesting to me, the difference between the two sides and how there is an onion structure for the professor's side. Very, very not as defined, but very effective. And that's what, Jag in particular was trying to set up on the family style side, but it was very rigid and set up in a different way. And I think the differences in how they were set up is super interesting, especially if you want to learn how to like build alliances properly. But in particular, Jag went from 2 to 3 to 5 to 8. And the other side is a lot more naturally forming. And they're making sure that they have the big group first, then they're doing their subgroups once they've figured out like which ones are correct and have already made the other people feel confident. So just interesting stuff to note there. Just a couple of other quick notes before we get into like the spiral down to oblivion. Jared and Blue talked a bit more. Blue told Jared about the Heisem thing and about their conversations the night before. And Jared did not feel great about this conversation. He's later going to talk about how he feels like, again, he was left out of their big conversation and that they can't trust Blue. However, again, for me, worth noting, very flirty conversation, very flirty body language between the two of them. If Blue doesn't leave soon, it's not impossible that they could like reconnect, not even necessarily as a showmance, but I do think that like once Blue's side is blown up, if she's still in the game, it wouldn't surprise me if these two like linked up strategically at the very least.
Yeah, and then that's when the game gets interesting for me because that's when you see Cirie do Cirie things. I know her name came up again. I'm sorry, but if Jared starts to stray and find like other alliances that are maybe not in the team's best interest, but we know how showmances cloud these things. I could see some potential, wizardry going on behind Jared's back that he's not even aware of to maybe get Blue out. And that's the kind of content I need in this season. I enjoy Blue as a character so far, but strategy wise, she's in a spot where she thinks she's fine. And I think that she could be in a more interesting spot. And I would prefer that. So give me more of that, please.
Yeah, she is very far behind. All right. So we got to kick off this because we are like now at, I don't know, like 8 or 9 o'clock, Big Brother time. And it looks like I'm like 5% through my notes. So Riley's going to have a conversation with Cameron on the hammock in the backyard. And this is where things really get weird. She tells Cameron that Izzy and Heisem are recruiting and that they have Luke already. Now, it's worth noting, Riley did have a conversation with Izzy where they talked, but they didn't feel good about it. Neither of them felt good about it. It was one of those like, kind of see what we're doing, what each other's doing. She thinks that we have to get out one of Izzy or Heisem next week. And he says, yeah, that's what I said last night. We just have to relax though, okay? She tells him about the weird conversation with Izzy, and he says, you're just putting too much pressure on yourself. You're going to psych yourself out. Now, I think it's not something that I've brought up a bunch before, but there's been a lot of talk from people that online that they kind of feel like Cameron maybe has a little bit of a crush on Riley. That's been a theory online. And you know, I don't usually like to give like too much, you know, flame to that if it's like, you never really know. But I think at this point, it's worth bringing up in the context of everything we're about to see. So she says, you know, he says, listen, all right, Riley, let me tell you why you're being seen as a threat. It's because everyone is so freaked out about you being in a showman's. And she's flabbergasted. What? Who's saying that? It's not something said. It's more of a thought. Meaning, I haven't heard it. It's more of a thought in my head, right?
Said it in my
He
mind.
says, because listen, if you link up with Matt, just look at the two of you. That's two huge threats. So, you know, that's just something that you've got to be really careful. She's like, that's such a ridiculous idea. There's nothing there. Like I don't know why anybody would think that. And he's like, yeah, you just need to find a way to separate yourself from him in their eyes, okay? And she's like, has somebody brought this up to you? Like, is somebody's telling you this? It's no, I just know. I just know that it's a thing. And it's like, whoa, this is weird, right? And he kind of changes the subject for a little bit. He says, you know, I know that Hisam is driving it. And she says that you, Jared, and Blue are in like the best spots right now because nobody's coming for you. He says, no, that's they just think that we're on the fringes for whatever reason. I don't know what it is. Worth noting, Cameron also had a conversation with Hisam where he also talked about potentially like flipping, joining sides, that sort of thing already. He says that, listen, I'm just the calming presence in the room up there. I just make the whole thing work, right? That's just who I am as I play this game. So I think that's the reason why it seems like I'm in such a good spot, you know, but listen, the game, it doesn't really start until Thursday. So, you know, we just gotta be chill. We gotta be okay. And we're gonna get through this. All right. And she's still kind of emotional from the whole Izzy situation, from the situation they're in general. She's like, I can't believe I cried this much, so much already. And he's like, oh, I owe you some tears. She's don't make me cry. He says, well, stop making me say things that make you cry. Just calm down.
Look,
the amount of times that he tells her to calm down is absurd.
Calm down. You know, this is the best thing ever because one, it's so annoying to watch. I mean, I'm watching these people in the hammock. I'm just dying. I was like, why are you listening to this? Riley, please stand up. No, literally get up off the hammock and walk away. But no, Cameron is on a full-on tirade, and it's in the worst way. It's like his self-help speech, kind of like he's like motivating her. Like, you don't have to play their game. You can play your game. Don't play Janelle's game. Don't play Brittany's game. Don't play. I was like, what are you talking about? You're playing Rachel's game. Don't play Rachel's game. Don't worry about those things. Like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about?
He's like, I'm not playing Dan's game. I'm not playing Will's game or Boogie's or Jeff's. I'm playing Cameron's game. And you need to do the same.
But the game don't start till Thursday, Cameron. So what are we doing today on Monday? What is this conversation about? If the game doesn't start until Thursday, you know, this is insane. Also, to the revelation that we find out that this is his daughter, you know, later on,
oh my God,
makes it even weirder.
So she says, listen, I'm just pissed about this showman's thing that you're telling me about, that I had no idea about before you told me this. And he says, listen, kid, you're a beautiful girl. Of course they're going to assume you're going to hook up with the beautiful guy. You know, so you need to show them who I see. Show them that you can separate from this God that I see in the mirror right now. And he's talking about Matt because you could see Matt in the backyard mirror. And for the love of God, just take a freaking breath and calm down. Okay, you don't want a showmance. You need to show them that you're here for the same reasons as everyone else. Okay. So weird, and the vibes, they're bad. Okay, the vibes are bad, and it's very weird, and I don't like it. And worth again reiterating that while there has been some talk about Riley and Matt occasionally, it is not anywhere near the thing that anybody is talking about. And as Cameron pointed out himself, Nobody's talked to him about it. Like, this is when he says you're a beautiful girl, of course, listen, kid, you're a beautiful girl. Of course, they're going to assume you're going to hook up with the guy. Show them you can separate from this god that I see. Like, he's telling on himself here. He's very much telling on himself right here. And it only gets worse because he's going to go and talk to Izzy. And I need to tell you about this conversation because Cameron and Izzy talking is like two black holes interacting, and that's how you get to the Scrambleverse. He says, "Listen, Izzy, I'm shaking right now because I finally revealed to Riley what our relationship dynamic really is. We cried together." "You both started crying? What did you say?" I said, "This is gonna sound weird, but I don't view you that way. Okay, I just don't view you that way." And she said that, you know, a lot of people think that she's going for Matt or Jag or maybe even me. And I was like, whew. So yeah, again, I said, "Listen, this is gonna sound weird, but I don't view you that way." And we knew that, you know, she and I have sat down and been like, dude, come on. So I don't know, like viewing you as a sister would be weird. So I don't view you as a sister. I said, like, you remind me of my Stevie, his daughter. You're like me. We're close. You know, I like looking out for you. You're goofy. You dance like an idiot. You're athletic. You're cool. I was just drawn to be your friend, you know, and that's the role I've taken. And she's cried to me multiple times. And I hit 2 tears on that damn hammock out there with her, one down each eye. And you know, she's just so terrified to be seen as in a showmance, which is the furthest thing from the truth. When I watched this,
Talk to him.
When I tell you, I literally was screaming at my screen. He's not doing this. There is no way. Oh my God, he's so weird. How? What is? He did not just say that. And no, he did not just say that. I'm gonna let you hear it from him too.
I said, "This is gonna sound weird." I said, "But I don't view you that way." And she says, "A lot of people think that it's like I'm going for Matt or even Jag, maybe even you." And I was like, whoa. I was like, listen. I said, "First off, this is gonna sound weird, but I don't view you that way, and we know that."
It's a myth. I don't see you that way. But man, I do. I do love Riley. I do love Riley.
I love Riley. Good God Almighty. And I'm weird about the way that I feel because she reminds me of my kid.
But you know
It's
what?
Fucking weird.
But you know what?
So
Like maybe I'm a cold ass
I know it's
bitch,
not my
but
fault,
I don't care.
But it's not my.
I don't care. Not for you,
Yeah.
but for me. Like because I like everyone in this
I
house,
know.
but I don't give a shit because everyone's going home every week, and so this energy, I don't want.
2 black holes. Okay, I haven't even gotten into Izzy yet.
I might be a cold ass bitch, but I don't care. I don't care. Let's just stop down on, you know, it could be Matt, it could be Jag. Hell, some people would say it even me. Whoa, slow down. I'm like, baby, you got too much dip on your chip. I'm Cameron, baby. I came here to play the game. Yeah, I'm not. You put too much on my back, baby. You can't hold me down like this. You got to play your game, baby. Like, Cameron, what the hell is happening? And he went to the perfect person to have this conversation with. He went to Izzy, who is also insane. And so he's escalating this one conversation up here. Izzy is about to take a separate conversation, have it at the same exact time, and put it right above it to where these two people are battling for supremacy. And eventually poor Jared will walk in and be like, "What the fuck is happening?"
Yeah. And just again, to be clear, Riley had no idea the showman's thing was a thing at all until Cameron just told her. And now he is telling Izzy that Riley has been in her own head about how people think that she wants to get into a showman's with, I don't know, even him. And he had to explain to her that he just doesn't see her that way. I mean, this is just weird behavior, and very concerning. But she says, or he says I love her. She's not a ringleader on that side. They're just a bunch of kids who thought numbers were all that mattered. Okay, and as you said, Izzy is having an entirely separate conversation, because Izzy is not listening to what Cameron is saying. She is thinking, I've got him. I have done this. I have flipped Cameron. And she's like, "Oh, so wait, are you saying you're willing to make something happen? Because I'm very open to, do you want to talk to Sari? You should talk to Sari." And he says, "Yes, that's good for all of us. You know, I love you all over here. But man, I do love them too. You know, I love them over there." And he's, "But do you want to win Big Brother?" He says, "Yes." And what I'm saying is that, yes, I'm willing to go. And, you know, like Corey, I think is working to open to working with good people too. I love that kid. I also like Jared. I'm also really tight with Jared. I trust him explicitly. And he's like, "Oh man," and he starts listing off all the other people on the side of Izzy that they should work with. And in this, that's when this happens. I'll play it to you one more time.
And I love Riley. Good God Almighty. And I'm weird about the way that I feel because she reminds me of my kid.
But you know
It's
what?
fucking weird.
But you know what? Like, maybe I'm a cold ass
I know,
bitch,
it's not-
but I don't care.
But it's
And she starts like, "I don't care," you know, because listen, you know, and he says that, listen, just, it's the hardest thing that you can do as a parent is to give the best advice that you can to your child and let them out into the world. And that's what I just did on that hammock. And she says, "Well, I'm not going to say my people's names, but I want you to know that if you want to be one of my people, you can be one of my people, because the cool kids, okay? Them. Riley, she never comes to talk to me. Never. I always go to talk to her. And you know what? I think we're the cool kids. We have fun down here. We're just as cool. I want to them up. That's what I want. Them. Okay? And I love knowing everything that I know and letting them come to talk to me and not tell them everything or anything. I love it. Okay?"
She said, "I eat it up. I eat it up." You know, I think
I drink their milkshake.
I think we're the cool kids. Fuck the cool kids. I think we're pretty cool because I'm wearing an orange snapback and we respect each other. And we're down here. We're not up there. We are no longer goo buddies. Fuck you, Jag. I said, "Izzy, fuck you, Jag. Fuck you. What? What did he do? He ain't even in here. This is an Arby's lady."
And Cameron, having his own separate conversation, responds to this by saying, "I just want you to know how hard it is to let go of that." And does that mean that you're not? No. What I'm saying is that I am letting it go, but I want you to know that what kind of person I am. Okay, that it's hard for me, but I am going to. And that's about when Jared walks in, and she's like, "Oh, Jared, sit, come here." And Cameron's like, "She's hot right now. She's hot."
Mhm.
And he says, "Listen, I cried a little because I needed to get the baby bird out of the nest. Okay, that's where I am right now." And they talk a little more about locking it in, having Cameron work with them, and it's a little more reasonable once Jared gets there. But it keeps going, because after Cameron leaves, Izzy, she's hyped up. She's like, "I just did this. I just flipped Cameron. I am a mastermind. Jared, what do you think? What do you think? And Jared is like, I think we need to chill. I think you need to chill. I think you need to
Dial it
stop being
back.
so gung-ho about going against the other side. And he just got back from his conversation with Blue, and where she told him that people are targeting Izzy. And he says, and don't trust Blue. And Izzy's like, I never did. He says, no, I just had a conversation with Blue about the another talk the A had without me. They think Heisem is the ringleader, and they're talking about targeting us. And she's like, listen, Jared, I've been holding court all day. Okay. And Jared's just like, okay, I'm coming here because I'm nervous and I just want to be careful. And please don't be too direct with Cameron because you can't trust. I wasn't being direct with Cameron. She's like, okay. You're on their hit list. So I need you to be careful. Okay. She says, I don't care. I hate them and I don't like what they do. He's like, no, but listen, what I'm trying to tell you, that the reason Cameron is jumping ship is because they're panicking and they're freaking out and they're panicking and he doesn't like it. So if you're panicking, that's not good for you. Okay. Don't let them see you sweat. But I wasn't sweating though. What the hell? I thought I was being clear. And he's like, well, when I walked in the room, Cameron said you were being hot. So I'm just, this is your brother telling you this. Okay. I'm trying to look out for you. I'm just trying to say, don't tell him too much. I didn't. Good. I'm just saying, I'm just saying, I know for a fact that when I go up there and talk to him, he's going to bring this up. Okay. So it's just like, he's not trustworthy. Sari walks in.
No, Taran, pause. This is insane because Jared is 100% correct. Izzy, why are you drawing such a defined line in the house saying, Cameron, fuck those people. I hate them. Because if Cameron goes upstairs and says, Izzy just said, fuck you, I hate you. That's it. There is no semblance of an alliance structure that, we can sneak in, we can infiltrate. They already low-key think Izzy's the head of whatever the counter alliance is anyway. Like she is probably number one on their hit list if they actually want to make a move. And he's telling her, like, hey, maybe don't arm Cameron, who just be making shit up anyway, with that kind of knowledge. And she's like, I didn't arm him. I didn't arm him with anything. Matter of fact, I'm the one who's armed. I have arms. Do you see me? Like, what are you talking about? You're not getting it. You're not getting it. Sari walks in, and it's like they both run to tell mom what happened.
Yes.
And so Izzy's like, Sari, Jared's tripping. He think I'm teed up, and I ain't teed up. He's like, Mom, listen. Listen, lady, just hear me out. And Sari, of course, she knows how Izzy will die for her. So she's like, Izzy, let's hear your side. He's like, no, listen to me. I'm the sane one in the room. She's like, Jared, I'm going to get to you in a second. Izzy, tell me what happened. I was just telling Cameron that the other side, I was trying to win him over. And Sari's like, yeah, what's wrong with that, Jared? Jared's like, it's not that she was trying to win him over. It's just that she was so emotional. Jared, people get emotional. Look at you. People get emotional. Calm down. What do we practice? We talked about this. You're breathing. Like when they get emotional, you just because you don't get emotional and you're not connected to your emotion doesn't mean that Izzy and Cameron can be. He's like, no, mom, listen, look, can we just have a moment, please? Mother, this is me. I'm telling you, Izzy didn't lost her shit. So he's like, in what way? She's like, she's here. We just need to be here for a little bit longer. So he's like, okay, I think I hear what you're saying. And I do hear both sides. He's like, no, there is no both sides. I'm telling you, the lady has lost it. We're dealing with a crazy person. So he's like, I'm going to take that under advisement.
Well, yeah, I mean, Sari walks in and it's clear that Izzy is upset. And she's like, what's wrong, Izzy? And she's like, nothing. I'm fine. Just let me calm down. And as Jared is kind of trying to explain the situation, Izzy is literally pacing back and forth in the room, shaking.
Mean pacing, airboxing. Like she is hyped up, Taran. The lady is teed up.
Jared is like, I could tell that Cameron was fishing and Izzy wasn't saying anything, which is great. You know, that it was great. Siri's like, okay, listen, we're going to talk because I can see that she needs a hug. Okay. And she's like, of course I didn't tell him anything. I hate him. He's my target.
Jared's like, But do you see there could be an issue with telling the other side of the house that you hate them? Do you see that there could be a problem with that? She's like, but I do hate them. I hate them. Fuck the cool kids. At some point, she says, let's get in the pool and wash this all off. Fuck the cool kids. You know, like as if she just like, if I just get in the pool and just rinse off all this cool kid stench off of me, I will be fine. Cleanse me, baptize me in the pool so that I don't have these fucking cool kids on my mind anymore. Izzy has lost her mind. And poor Sari, she is trying to manage her son as her son and as a game player while her daughter is legit the problem.
And so, yeah, so Izzy recounts the conversation to Sari from her perspective, and she tells the whole thing, including the part where she was like, oh, and I told him he needs to talk to you, Sari. And Sari's like, whoa, don't be telling him my name and linking me to this. And I just suggested it as a conversation. And Sari's like, no. And that's when Jared comes in and he's like, listen, guys, we're never going to make it far if we're this emotional. And Sari's like, oh, Jared. You have to let people be emotional. Not everyone responds to things the same way that you do. And that's when Izzy's like, I'm just gonna let you guys have a moment. Okay.
Yeah. I didn't start all this. I'm just gonna go. This is none of my business. This is a family thing. I'm gonna let y'all handle it.
And so Jared tries to explain that the other side is already targeting Izzy, so he needs her to chill. And Sari's like, if they're already targeting her, what is chilling gonna do? Make them target me instead? Like, we don't need to be doing that.
Points were made. So he's like, listen, anybody but me is still a thing. You know what I'm saying? Like it happens. But I think Sari, and the thing that she struggles with, even with Jared, is that Sari would like for no one to be ever saying her name at all unless they're saying we're good with them. And they're always like, yeah, so I talked to such and such, and I told them Sari. She's like, why are you bringing me up? I could just sit in the back and watch all of you crazy people fight. But every time y'all talk to me, y'all like, yes, I talked to them, and I said Sari was. It's like, no, I didn't ask you to go do that. I just told you to leave me out of this.
It's important to realize that the other side's perspective is that Hisam is the ringleader and that Izzy is like the like lieutenant recruiter person, right? But when Izzy is talking to people and saying, oh, you want in? Let me set up a meeting with Sari, all right? Like, we're going to make this happen.
Yeah.
It's very dangerous for Sari, and that information is starting to spread. Nobody's connected the dots yet, but it would not surprise me if those dots get connected soon, because Sari is consistently the person that people are saying, you should go talk to Sari if you want to join that side. And it's stemming from Izzy.
Yeah.
So
and Izzy also does the I trust Jared implicitly. Like, that's it. Like, Jared and Sari. She did say explicitly. Dear God. She's like, I trust him.
I didn't mess up.
Way.
He did.
Yeah. I trust him in a nasty way. No, she's just like, I trust him and his mom. I'm not aligned with them. We're not a group. It's not the three of us. You definitely don't need to come through all three of us. It'd probably be a horrible idea to backdoor Sari. Don't do that. Definitely don't do that. Even though I'm telling you that this lady is in the center of this structure we have going on. But whatever, continue. I'm fine. It's not that big. It's not that big of a deal. It's just Izzy.
Izzy comes back in and she's like, "Oh, let me leave again." And Jared's like, "No, stay." And he tries to tell Izzy again, like, "Listen, I'm sorry." Izzy's just like, "I just didn't like you coming in telling me to chill first thing." Because again, like, you have to realize Izzy thought that she just pulled something major off, and then to have her brother come in and like being all negative was just a real bummer for her. He says, listen, I get it. I'm sorry. I see what I did was wrong 110%, and I'm so sorry. It's just like, genuinely, I have like 11 brothers, and that's what they do for me when I get hyped up, and it's just how I operate. And you're like my sister. I'm like your brother, they do a group family hug. They're family. They're family. She is an adopted daughter at this point. Jared ends up leaving, and it's just, again, like, you see how good Sari is at this. The second Jared leaves, Sari looks over at Izzy and just gives her that look. They immediately both burst out laughing. Like, oh man, just
your
Jared.
That's your brother. You know him, that crazy guy.
Yeah,
he's so good.
Man, you're the good child. This guy.
And listen, Taran, Izzy is all of us in this moment. Is Sari ever like looked at us like, you're the good child? I'm like, help. Yes, mom. Yes, please. It's me. Izzy's right now thinking, I wonder if this game's gonna be over by Thanksgiving. Because I really wonder like what we're gonna have for dinner that day. I wonder what Christmas morning's gonna be like at the Sari Fields house when I'm there with all my siblings, Jared and all of his brothers. It's gonna be a great time. I wonder what it's gonna be like next year when we go on family vacation. She is now planning her life as a part of that family, and it is not the wrong move.
Yeah, and as the chat correctly points out, the thing that makes it even funnier is that she's like an adopted child that forced her way in with blackmail.
She just walked in the house and sat down and was like, so I know where all the bodies are buried. So what's for dinner? And they're like, we love you, Izzy. She's like, I know, or else,
So Izzy leaves the room finally, and Sari to the cameras. Oh my God. Oh my God. Can we just stick to the damn plan? Like,
this is too much. I think even at some point, someone even asked her, like, so this is how Survivor is. It's crazy like this. Sari kind of just like casual, like, I mean, sometimes it's not really like it can get like this kind of. Felicia's like, no, it really looks like Sari's like in her mind. I know she's thinking, no, this is crazy. It's been 5 days and we voted no one out, and we are legit just spiraling all the time. I don't know. Like, I love Sari, but I just like, I want to protect her from this amount of stress because the lady, she looks so tired. I'm like, let this lady sleep. Every time they get a plan solidified, and Izzy happens, a Cameron happens, and Jared happens. And then she's like on 10 again. Her and I guess Nicole, both of them are always like, what the hell is going on? How is this happening? These people are crazy. These people are stupid. What's going on? And they are doing that constantly. And I just want to go in there and protect my mom from her new daughter, Izzy.
yeah. And people are asking, like, what? But what about Cameron? What's going on? Don't worry. There's more. Now what's funny too is that after this whole exchange, Jared goes and talks to Jag pretty much immediately and has another hilarious conversation with Jag, because Jag is like, I don't know what's going on, man. I don't understand. Everyone seems to know everything. It's like, I don't get how this happened. To Jared, who was the reason it happened, who's like, yeah, I don't know, man. And then Jag proceeds to tell Jared about everything that he's doing. I've been talking to Bowie all day today. I think I can get in with Bowie. I think I can influence her. You need to keep working on Sari and Felicia because, like, I don't really have much of a bond with them. But if you can work on them, that's good. Like Blue is still working on, Izzy and that. Like, and he's way behind on the times here. But he's again giving everything to Jared, who he's the reason. He's the mole.
And this is great. This is great. I just think that, a player like Jag, I would like to see do well, but he's really letting things slip away from him. And I'm not quite sure why he's not more attentive to his alliance. I know you talked about how the alliance was formed, how it kind of started off like, okay, it's like the 2 of us / the 3 of us / the 5 of us / the 8 of us. And I think in the past, other alliances have formed more like at once, where you have like 4 people maybe who say, I already kind of have a connection with somebody. I'll just bring them and we'll pretend like this is the meeting. This is the one. But as they're bringing people in, they're like, okay, so we have 5. Do you want to be 6, 7, and 8? And everybody's like, yes, of course I do, because that's what I'm supposed to say. And then immediately going to the other side and be like, man, I'm not really in that alliance. They wanted me to be last. And everybody on that alliance like, come on, baby. Come on. Let's stay away from those bullies. They're mean. They're so cool with their cool asses. Just come to us. And now you have him he's lost complete control. He's just really at the mercy of basically whoever wins HOH. And there is a non-zero chance that he'll be on the block next week for some reason, or this week, I guess.
Oh, very much so, yeah. and Jag's looking around at his allies, and it's like Riley and Blue and Cameron, and they're all spilling their guts to anybody that will listen. And so when he's like, I don't know what's going on, I don't know how they know everything. It's like our allies are way too loose-lipped. But Jared, you're solid, man. He's looking at Jared like Jared's one of the few people that's not openly spilling everything. Unfortunately for him, it's because he's the one that's privately spilling everything. Mm-hmm. So Izzy, Cameron, and Red convene in the storage room. And she's like, Cameron, I'm so excited. We broke the seal. And Cameron's like, yeah, I crossed the picket line. There's a strike going on. All right, guys, poor choice of words.
All of this broke the seal. Come on, Izzy. What are we talking about here?
Luckily, Heisem wasn't involved in this conversation. Red says, "Oh yeah, I was hearing that something wild was going on downstairs. Like some people were going wild." And Izzy's like, "What? Who said that?" And Red looks at Cameron, and Cameron's like, "Oh, I don't think anybody was saying it like something like that. I don't think anyone thinks that."
He's talking to the wild person. He's like, somebody was losing their shit earlier. I wonder who that was. Izzy's like, who? He's like, nobody.
Yeah. Izzy's like, I'm just excited to continue to get to know each other and make this happen because they don't know each other at all. Izzy asks Red, like, do you think it's a good idea to facilitate a conversation now between Suri and Cameron? Like, do you think that we should like initiate Cameron by having a talk with Suri? And he's like, yeah, I guess so. And Cameron's just like, I just appreciate that we're adults, you know, and we don't. I don't have to keep you guys from jumping off the ledge every damn minute, you know. Like I'm just excited for that. And so Cameron leaves, and Izzy's like, is Red like is Cameron, is he really down? And Red's like, yeah. And she's like, all right, but you're a professor. He's not a professor. He's your +1. Okay. I was like, yeah, okay. So rejoins the conversation. They pitch like, hey, we should have a group conversation with Cameron. And she's like, are you sure? Red, you really think Cameron's solid? He's like, yeah. She's like, are you sure? Because don't want to have that conversation if we can't trust Cameron. He's like, no, yeah, he's totally good. She's like, oh, okay, I'll trust you. All right, I don't know what else to do in this situation.
Cerise needs they need a figurehead because they don't have one. They like Izzy wants it to be Cerise so bad, but Cerise like, no, that's actually horrible for me. I don't want that. And so every time someone comes to them, they're like, yeah, it's like they gotta get jumped into the gang. It's like you come in, it's like, ooh, we gotta run that past Cerise. And Cerise like, no, you don't. Like, are they good or not? It's like, well, I mean, they haven't talked to you yet, and I don't want them to. But I do want them to be in our alliance because I don't want them to target me. I want them to feel like they're with us. It's like, okay, well, who do they need to talk to? I don't know. Like, I just talk to them and make sure that they're not coming after me. And she's like, gotcha. I'm going to tell them to talk to you. No, I didn't say that. I did not say to tell them that you're going to run it past me. Actually, just handle this. I just want somebody to say, Cameron, you are mine. We are together. We are a duo. You don't need to worry about anything else. That other side of the house does not exist to you. It is me and you to the end. And then he will go nowhere because he will have no reason to go anywhere. But no one is giving him that because they're all like, oh, we need to run this to the boss. Who's the boss? Well, I don't really know. Like, the assistant director's here speaking on behalf of the boss, but we actually don't have one of those per se. And I think that's really what it's missing. This core is not, it's fine because it's working, but it's not stable.
Yeah, well, Heisem joins Izzy, Red, and Suri, having just talked to Cameron. And Heisem's like, yeah, they all know we're together, and it's freaking them out. And Red ends up leaving, and Mimi joins, and Heisem gives another one of his like rousing, like, you know, gather the troops kind of moment. He's like, man, I'm just so excited for us to show America that 7 people can make it to the end together with integrity. Okay, like, we are gonna do this. We are gonna make this happen. Okay. And in my mind, I was just like, oh, I can't wait for Heisem's exit interviews where he talks about how Suri played such a dirty game and doesn't deserve the win. Because he's giving me mad traitor vibes right now.
I started thinking about it too, honestly, with the idea that the jury could be bitter. And I'm thinking like, okay, well, who would you want if you are someone like her? And he is not somebody that you want, right? Like, it just doesn't feel that way. He very much feels like, no, these are the people that I feel like I should go with to a certain extent. Like, he doesn't feel like if you cut him before like 5, he's not voting for you. Like, I'm sorry, he's just not. It doesn't feel like that right now. Maybe he comes around or he becomes a huge threat and he understands why he needs to go at that point. But right now he feels like, no, like, if we are not the end, then something went terribly wrong. Somebody went back on their word. Somebody was deceptive in a way that we are just not willing to play with on this side. We are not the cool kids. We are the ones with integrity. And it's like, how do y'all always sneak into the house? How do these people with all these morals and stuff sneak into the Big Brother house every season and do this? I think it's entertaining for television, but it's so annoying as somebody who wants to see these people do whatever it takes to win the game.
Yeah. So he says, listen, what we do now is that we test these people who are saying they want to work with us, right? And make them demonstrate where their loyalties really lie when it comes to choosing a pawn. People like Corey, maybe. But listen, their core, Jag, Riley, Blue. And Riley needs to go first. And that's the plan. So in the meantime, Corey is doing some bonding with Mimi. Says that Mimi's like, I feel like I'm not really being talked to. I wonder if it's because of my proximity to Kirsten. And Corey's like, well, I've heard your name a lot as somebody that people feel comfortable with. And then they start talking about Luke and whether he's a real person or not, because after all of his conversations, Mimi is skeptical. She's like, I just don't know if that's really possible for a person to be him. And Corey's like, I don't know. I feel like it might. I mean, look, he's getting one over on me. Like, give him the Oscar because I don't know. It's and they kind of go back and forth about whether or not Luke is really Luke.
But is Luke real? Like, is Luke real? Because online I've seen things, Taran. Where do you land on the Luke is a twin DNA twist debate?
Well, see, I've heard some rumors that Luke actually took that flight to LA a few weeks ago, and he might have been part of a viral moment that.
Yeah. Well, someone in the chat said maybe he's AI. I think we'll take that. I love Mimi as well. Mimi also feels like a normal person who walked into a room full of crazy people all the time. She always looks terrified. Like, what happened? How did we get here? How come we just can't wait until it's time to vote for these people to prove their loyalties? Like, wouldn't they be doing that when if we voted? It's like, well, everybody's voting for Kirsten. It's like, yeah, but then at that point, like you said, HOH happens. It's like, well, who would they use as a pawn? No, who are they targeting? Like, why can't we just do this like a normal, clean game of Big Brother? These people are playing 2-3 weeks down the line, but they just keep hitting their wall at tomorrow, basically, and they can't get any further than it. And I feel bad for Mimi because watching her, I feel like, okay, she is us. She is us thinking, why can't you all just slow down for 2 seconds and just be normal people? So I don't blame her for thinking that Luke is, a plant.
Yeah. So, all right. It's time. We got to get back to Cameron because he's going to have a conversation with Cirie. And Red is in the room at first. And Cameron says, listen, I really tried working with the other side, but it's just not working. And I just feel like it's a more natural fit over here. And Cirie's like, yeah, that feels good to me. Yeah, I think so too. And Cameron says, man, this is the best afternoon I've had since I came here. And then Red leaves, and they both talk about liking Red a lot. And so it's Red and it's Cameron and Cirie talking one-on-one. He said, man, I didn't realize how tight Red was with everyone down here. So when I talked to him last night, and he told me about what's going on, I realized I'd rather be down here than up there. But man, let me tell you, it's gonna hurt from a fatherly stance.
As a father,
it's gonna hurt what I gotta do to Riley. And he starts tearing up, and Cirie's like, wow, Cameron, this is a lot. No, don't worry, one won't fall, a tear won't fall. I just want everyone to know where my character is. All right, that's what I just want you to know. And Felicia walks in the middle of that, and the look on his face when Felicia walks in is like, it goes from like teary eyed to like back to teary eyed. And Alicia's like, oh, are you crossing to the right side? He said, it's where I belonged all along. When I win HOH, you'll see. You'll see. Hey, I'm a good dad. I'm a good dad.
This is scary. Is it not scary? y'all aren't scared of this man, and not like because like Riley is in danger. I mean, she might be. I don't know this man, so I don't know if she's in danger or not. Let's just keep an eye on her. But just in general, he's got this like I'm putting down old Yeller vibes to him right now. Like like a dad just has to do what a dad has to do. It's like what dad has to do what you're suggesting. Like it sounds like his daughter got the common cold and he's about to go and snuff her. Like, sir, calm down. There are other levels to this. You don't have to play like this. But he feels like it's his personal responsibility to now go and be the one to off Riley, like as her father. Like I would not want anybody else to vote out my child. It is me. I am the one who should shoulder this burden. When in reality, you could just let them handle it. If you really just want Riley out, just don't win the HOH. They win the HOH. They vote her out. You could even vote with her if you want to. I'm pretty sure that you could just get through this scot-free. But he needs y'all to know his character. He needs to know that those 2 tears are dropping. He caught 2 on the hammock. He caught another one because you can't let the tears hit the ground, Taran, because thugs don't cry.
Schoolboy.
Yeah, you got to catch the tears. And so Cameron is in a show of his own. We see this from time to time, like Sam from Big Brother way back in the computer, where they're just like at some point they're in their own game, they're in their own head. There's this whole narrative that they've crafted, and we're all just playing along around them, not with them. They're just trying to navigate them. I think
big I've got to be the villain vibes.
Like I have to be the center of this story because no one's talking to me, so somehow I have to make myself important. And so, sir, the least important you are, the less important you are in this game, the better for someone like you. Just slide into the background like America. We've mentioned her once. Well, one time. It's been an hour and her name has come up once. Be like her. Hide. Go work out. Do something. Like breathe. Dear God. I'm sorry. Cameron is an all-time Big Brother character, but he does not need to be here for 4 more weeks. They got to get him out before the jury.
Yeah, so he starts to describe what happened with the other side and how their alliance formed. He says again, it's like what happened is that other group, they came together. They're young. They thought all numbers were all that mattered. It's like the Wizard of Oz is fake. There is no power. There's only rash decisions by a group of people that went on a first date and felt like they found the love of their life. Wow. Well said, Cameron. Well said. Yeah, that makes sense. Makes a lot of sense.
No. Y'all stop this. Stop encouraging this man. Someone just grab him by the face and go, stop. Grow up. What is wrong with you? You sound nuts. But I get you're playing a game, but at some point you have to cut the cameras dead ass. Like, Cameron, we need to talk. Are you okay? Like, are you well? The producers should be looking at him as like someone they should be checking in with a little bit more at this point.
And he starts trying to say like, Riley, she's not the ringleader. She's just in over her head, like maybe even somebody that we could pull in at some point. I feel like it's not even that bad of a situation, but that's those others that are really the problem. And this conversation is going to continue for a bit. But in the meantime, Hisam is going to talk with Izzy, or Hisam and Izzy are going to talk with Luke. And this is kind of the somewhat conclusion to Luke's arc in the day. He gives his, man, nobody's talking to me, man. Me, I guess, geez. And Hisam lets him know. He says, listen, I'm going to tell you something. You were the backup target this week. If the veto had been used, you would have gone on the block. And Luke's like, I knew it. That makes a lot of sense. Riley. And they start talking about how, man, next targets need to be Riley, Blue, and Jag. Those are the 3. Those are the ones that were targeting him. And Izzy's like, oh, also Cameron. I don't like Cameron. He's got to go next after them. And Hisam's like, yeah, for sure. And they're like, are you down for that, Luke? Do you want to be a part of that? Luke's like, hell yeah, let's go.
Taran, Luke woke up this morning saying, no one's talking to me. I'm fired up. I'm about to go make things happen. And then Cameron made himself the main character of Luke's story. So then there was no more Luke talk. And then at the end of the day, they come in and hit Luke with so Luke, you're with us, right? Like the other side was targeting. And Luke's like, really? Crazy? Like, okay, cool, bet, we're together. And it's like, yep, that's it. Team, we're done. Ready, break. That's it. That's all it takes is for you to tell somebody that they're safe with you. That's it. It's like fancy Finsterton arguments, you know, like, well, you probably, we got you for a couple days or whatever. No, you need to weaponize this person against the people who were willing to get rid of him. And, you know, there's a very clear side to that. Now, I don't know how I feel about the plan of targeting Riley. I really think, Taran, and this is me just asking you from like your professional standpoint here. Is Riley really the best person they should be targeting here? Because she seems very susceptible to everyone.
Yeah. Well, some people in the chat were asking, wait, who's Luke again? And I realized I forgot to bring up the graphic, so I apologize if you've been watching. But here's the graphic.
He's the one with the people's eyebrow.
Yeah. Jobo64 just sent me this on Twitter. Updated sort of version of the graphic with a little RHAP there in there. So thank you, Joe. Yes, targeting Riley. I mean, is she the most dangerous? No, I think Jag is more strategically dangerous and still probably also as competitive. But you know, also Riley like stands out a bit more as a target right now. So who knows? But actually, Jared's gonna have a conversation with Mimi about who to target. You know, between Jag, Riley, and Blue, they do sort of feel like Riley would be the best backdoor at the moment. But Jared doesn't really want to touch Matt right now. He thinks Matt it's expendable to them, so they should probably leave Matt alone. And he says, really, ideally, like if one of us wins HOH, we could nominate like, you know, Jag and Blue or something like that, and then I could use the veto on one of them to maintain my cover, and we still vote one of them out. And she's like, oh, that's a good idea. So they're still plotting. And on the other side, Riley is talking to Matt in America, and Riley's just like, we should just hang out at this point. Denying it at this point is dumb. They all know. Izzy talked to me earlier today, and it felt like two war leaders coming together to discuss, you know? And I'm just so mad about this showman stuff. Like, where did that come from? Don't look at me.
Who said that? Yeah, could have been me. Wonder who was behind that one. I don't know. I definitely didn't say anything.
And then Cerie's gonna catch Mimi in the pantry, and she says, "Oh my God, Mimi! So they just brought in Cameron tonight. Okay. Now Cameron, he's in there talking all kinds of shit, and won't let anyone talk. And Red slipped up and told him that we had Luke and Jared, and now Cameron is dictating that we need to bring in Riley and Matt too. Like this is getting to be way too much. And now I don't know about Heisem either, because Heisem's coming in. He seems on board with bringing Cameron in. And like I just don't understand what's happening with our allies. I don't think people are going to tolerate Izzy for much longer. I'm thinking we just need to protect ourselves, Mimi. I think that's the way I've never heard Red laugh like he laughed today with Cameron. When it's with us, it's like, ha, ha, ha. With Cameron, he goes, ha, 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 ha. He's with Cameron. He's with Cameron more than he's with us. And it's just, and now Cameron's in here. You just got here 5 minutes ago. And who to tell us who's you're bringing in next? You tell us who we're going to bring in next? You're a guest. I'm telling you, it's me, you, Felicia, Corey, Jared, and Izzy. All right, that's the six. That's our six right now. Because all of these other people, basically, Cerie's just like, I'm working with a bunch of dum-dums. Like, yeah. I cannot believe that they all fell for this Cameron crap. She's also mad at Felicia because she was like, I was looking at Felicia, who's like, yeah. I was like, Felicia, come on.
She has to have separate one-on-ones with Felicia every now and then. It's like, all right, I hear what you're saying, but you're incorrect. Stop that. Stop doing the thing you're doing. She's like, but why? So he's like, because I told you to. Because like literally what you're doing is counterproductive. And she's like, oh yeah, damn. I think man, that's crazy. How did I miss that? So he's like, I don't know. I do not know. And again, poor Mimi. Mimi finds all this stuff out basically secondhand. So it's like she gets the Taran update. Cerie tells her all this stuff, and she's just like, are these people nuts? She's in the chat. Like, what's happening?
What's happening?
Yeah, these people are stupid. And then she just goes on, which I think is one of the best rants ever.
Yes, we're not quite there yet, because so first Cerie's like, maybe we could get America, and Mimi's like, I don't think we could get America. I because even though they're acting like they can get America to do whatever they want and that she's not really part of the core group, Mimi says I'm concerned that they're actually a little bit right about that. They might be able to get America to do what they want. So we should be careful about America. Cerie starts making fun of Cameron's pitch. She's like, he's in there like, she's like a daughter. You should have seen me. I could barely contain myself. And they're like, so who are they targeting? Jag and Jag and Blue? Like who's left to target? Says Mimi. And Cerie says, well, Heisem still wants to target Riley, so I want him to tell Cameron that. And Mimi's like, so what about Bowie? And Cerie's like, oh man, Red told me so many times today that Cameron loves Bowie so much. So much. He loves Bowie. He loves Bowie. And I was like, I'm right here. So she's a little worried about the Bowie situation. She spent all day talking to Jag, and now Cameron apparently loves her. So she's a little bit suspicious of the Bowie situation. Mimi says, yeah, Cameron and Red came up with this last night. They came up with this whole plan. And Cerie's like, yep. And now he's trying to save Riley. And then Cerie leaves the pantry, and Mimi
she's so
this
mad.
is getting out of hand. This is these people are actually stupid. Like stupid. I don't even know another word for it. Like you can tell she doesn't want to say stupid, but she doesn't. She's like so incensed, just, like incompetent. I'm just beside myself right now. And she's pacing in circles around the middle, like counter of the pantry. She's pacing around. She's like, I'm beside myself right now. Get this trash can out of my way. I've never met people that are so dumb in my life. Like, I want everyone to go straight to hell. Like, don't collect $200. Don't pass go. Just go straight to hell. Because what is happening right now?
But the people who be like, Chappell, would you ever play Big Brother? No, because I am Mimi. I am her. She is me. Because I might not know what the hell is going on. But when I see crazy shit, I got to point that shit out. And she is dying to be like, what is wrong with you people? She said something to the effect of like, I don't have a better adjective than stupid, dumb, incompetent, incapable. Like, this is what is happening. She's like, if we're in an alliance and then you bring the rest of the house into the alliance, who are people even going to vote for? Like, who do you vote for if the whole house is aligned with each other? How did we end up here? I was like, Mimi, and she's in the pantry holding her face like, dear God, how did this happen? Where did it all go wrong? It has not been 1 week in the Big Brother house, and this lady has cracked. She's over it. She's like, I need you people out of here. Y'all are dumb. And then when she gets mad at the poor trash can for just existing, like, get this trash can on my face. Like, she said, Jesus was too stingy with common sense because y'all didn't get none of it. And I just stood up and shouted, look, I'm stealing that. I almost put it in my damn Twitter bio. Jesus was too stingy with the common sense because how did I manage to get so much and y'all have so little? Make it make sense.
Oh man. So Jag talks to Blue in America. America brought up what Riley said, and Jag says, no, I don't think we should admit to being an alliance. No matter how obvious it is to people, I don't think that we want to leave that little bit of doubt in their minds. Like, man, you are playing from behind right now. Matt talks to Jared. He says Luke is so all over the place, and he thinks the other side is picking him up. They should have done that first. They didn't need to include him in the 8 or anything, but they should have brought him in. They should talk to him tomorrow. Matt also playing about a day too late with that one. Heisem stops Mimi in the living room and says, hey, I talked to Luke. Luke is down. And Mimi's like, good. Luke is the most solid option for us. Says Mimi, the person who still doesn't even know if Luke is a real person, but Luke is still a better option than Cameron.
Is she wrong? Is she wrong? She's on the plane like, this motherfucker is not real. It's not real. But I'll take him. You know, like if the alternative is Father Cameron, I'm good here.
And Heisem says, our 7 is solid. We're still good with the 7. She's like, okay, good. And then he walks off and she starts pacing. She's head in hands. It's like, and then she looks up and sees the window from the loft and goes, oh, crap. And she moves under the loft and starts doing it again.
I think my favorite line from Mimi, aside from Jesus was too stingy, is when she's like, and I hope Red isn't America's favorite. Like, dear God. It's like, where did Taran? I don't know if that's a thought that's permeating throughout the house, but she's like, and goddamn, she's like, not America in the house, but America us. She's like,
Yeah.
and y'all better not like red. I mean, dear God, ain't no way. This is not Donnie. Stop it.
Oh man. So Jared talks to Heisem up in the have not room because they just had another awkward conversation with Corey. So after Corey leaves, they start talking about Corey and kind of arguing a little bit about Corey because Jared is saying he thinks Corey is valuable to them and they should try to work with him. And that, Corey's the last person we should be concerned about winning this game. He doesn't have anyone right now. Heisem's like, nah, these types win all the time. Okay. Jared's like, but he doesn't have anyone right now. Like, listen, I feel like I understand how Corey will play and how he'll move. I don't trust him, but I know that right now he needs to work with us. And once he has to choose a side, I'm not going to be like, oh, I trust him on my side. But he's not the person I'm most worried about in this house. And so you can sort of see the different ways that Corey's being viewed between the two of them, which I thought was interesting. Corey ends up interrupting the conversation. And then, if you thought Cameron was done, he was not, because we have one more conversation for the day. Cameron's going to go up to Riley in the middle of the kitchen. Listen. I'm doing everything I can to salvage you, okay? I can't promise for anyone else, but I'm doing this for you. She's like, what do you mean? What are they talking about me? It's like, I told them everything about the 8. What? I told them about our conversation on the hammock and how I was the voice of reason in our group, and because I feel for you the way that you do, I try to look out for you. I told them about that. And everything that I've done tonight has been to try to mitigate your involvement. She's, who did you talk to about this? Everyone. Heisem? Yes. It's all of them. The army has formed. It's time to start playing. All right? I told them what happened is a bunch of kids got together and had a first date that felt great and thought that was it. All right? But the other side, they are cohesive. They are gently driven, thoughtful people. And we need to work on getting you in with them because what I'm saying is you trying to talk to them, it's pissing them off because they already know. They're almost insulted. All right? So don't get wrapped up in the whys and whos and hows. I want you to do what I told you to do in that hammock. You should sit down with Suri and lay out everything that we were doing because I didn't leave out a lick with her. All right? I completely broke down balling to Suri and Felicia because I knew what I needed to do like a schoolboy. All right? And it wasn't just information to get information from that side. And he goes on to explain the entire day that he had, recaps the entire day from the beginning to end. And he talks about how, man, and Izzy feels cast aside and thrown away by those cool kids. And I was like a coach up here. That's just who I am. But I didn't tell you guys to do anything. I didn't give any orders other than to just chill and talk to people, But I need you to show them your heart. If you let them know what kind of friendship that we have, that'll be enough. And hey, most important, you need to reiterate that you don't give a shit about a showman's. Okay? You need to be separate from that and any kind of showman stuff. She's like, what are you telling me? Like, who would you put up if you won HOH, Cameron? I don't even know right now. I don't even know. That's where we're at. That's where we're at this point. And she starts crying. She's like, I'm just so overwhelmed right now. Like, this is so much. Is he saying that like I'm leaving her out? Like she's mad at me? She thinks I'm like a cool kid that's like a mean girl? Like oh my God, like I need Izzy gone so bad next week. And he says, no, listen. If we shoot someone else, that would create a bridge. You're not personally responsible for 8 or 5. We will survive together, the two of us. Okay. And he says, because they've got a lot. They've got 10. They've got Suri, Felicia, Izzy, Heisem, and he names everyone, including, and they've got Luke, me, Corey, Jared. She says, what? Corey's with them? Our little Corey? It's like, he's not just our little Corey anymore. And Jared, yeah. I'm not officially, but they felt at the bottom. All right. And that's the way things are. And so, Jared's concerns, very well founded. It has now passed to Riley. And he says, listen, all right? And at this point, they're up in the HOH room. They're laying in the bed together. And he says, I need you to do two things. What are those two things? I need to go talk to Suri and Felicia. And Izzy? What did you say? Guess what the next thing is? And chill. Smart girl. Clever girl. Oh my God. This is her. I don't like this. Well, you better get the hell over it. I feel sick. You should feel better right now. I just told you everything. And then they wrap up the conversation. All right. Give me a hug. He lies down on top of her on the bed and gives her a nice old hug. And then they wrap.
I jokingly said earlier that we need to go check on Sari because emotionally this is probably too much for her because she's not used to playing with nuts people like this all the time for 100 days. But make no mistake, Riley, we are sending our love and energy to you right now. There's no reason why you should have to go through this roller coaster of emotion every day for no reason. This woman has done nothing. She has done nothing to elicit this kind of energy from Cameron. We are going to move Cameron just completely just out in this entire alliance and then including people who weren't even in the alliance and all this stuff. Just put that to the side. Riley, we send you love and prayers, your thoughts and prayers, please, because this is insane. This man has not only told you that you were the issue, you and your showmans that doesn't exist, that he pretty much made up. I mean, yeah. And then went and retold to everybody else, basically galvanizing them against you, saying that he's at the bottom and that Luke is at the bottom and that all these people are at the bottom and that, he is the first one to come and speak reason to you and to point out that you are next to go and that you have to play your own game and all this other stuff. He has been running around the house talking to all these people. And they're all saying, yeah, I think Riley's okay we're good with Riley leaving soon. Yeah, maybe next week we might backdoor. And he's like, yep, sadly, I think that's what it's come to. Only to then go to Riley and be like, they're coming after you, girl. It's over. I don't know what. There's only so much I can do for you. I've been trying to put out fires all day. They literally had no clue that a showmance was an issue. Like I said, things were whispered, but they had no clue. But until I told them. They also didn't know they needed to get all these pieces. We didn't know Izzy hated everybody. We had no clue. But now I do. I knew that because now I went to them and I told them all of these things. And now it's you. You are the number one target. When Kirsten goes, all these people are going to target you. But there's a way. You can get out of this. You just have to follow my instructions because I am your father. And first and foremost, call me daddy. Second, go talk to Sari because she is mom. She is mother, as we all know. And Felicia. But most importantly, you just need to calm down a little bit because you're a little riled up. You're a little riled up right now. The whole house can feel it. Everybody feels your energy. I already told you what to do. I told you, go sit your ass on that hammock and think about this and play your own game and separate yourself from that other guy, that guy who you don't even like. Yeah, separate yourself from him. But more importantly, just bring your emotions down. You're on 10 right now. And I really need you. And she's crying. He's like, see, there it is. Your emotions. Baby, this is, I'm trying to tell you. And yet here you are crying. What are you doing? Are you dumb? Listen to me. Calm the hell down. Or you're going home. And there's nothing I can do about it. I'm voting with them. I'm voting you out. This is for your own good. He has completely ruined this game for Riley in one day. Now, don't get me wrong. She probably still wasn't in a great spot anyway. But just from a maneuvering standpoint, she does not even know which way to turn. And it's all his fault.
Yeah. It's so weird. It's so bad. It's very uncomfortable to watch. And you've we all see what's happening, right? It's not subtle that Cameron is listen, here's a made up reason for why you should definitely not hook up with any of these other guys. In fact, you know how you have friends that aren't me? You need to ditch them. All
I
right.
don't have them. They're
You
fake.
have to come with me in order to
Fake friends.
survive in this game. You have to listen because I know what's going on. So definitely don't go hooking up with anybody. And then also follow me and trust me and rely on me. I will get you in with these other people because I have all the answers. All right. And stop being emotional about this. Okay. I don't like that. I don't like emotions from you. Okay. Just calm down, be calm, and just do what I want you to do and be who I want you to be. And don't be friends with anyone else and don't hook up with anyone else. And just listen to what I say and be my daughter. Okay. Just listen, follow me.
This we got to get him out of here. We got to get Cameron out the house. Coup d'etat, please. You know, we need this man out. He obviously misses his child. He has, in his mind, either in some weird way, maybe like latched onto her, like he's imprinted on her, like a Jacob and Bella situation. I don't know. Like he is imprinted on her. He's like, I don't want you romantically because you're like a child to me. But I also don't want you to ever need or want anybody else but me ever. So I'm going to call you my daughter, but specifically because I want you to call me daddy. Like I want everyone in the house to know that you got to come through me to get to you. And if you have anything to say to them, I am your liaison. You come to me and I will handle all the business because you don't worry your pretty little head, champ. I got you. You're not able to do it, but Big Daddy Cam is here. And I am obsessed with this. This is incredible. This man is such a character. And I think we're blessed. I think we are blessed this season. Look at Big Brother feeding us, giving us what we needed. We needed some craziness, and I think we got it.
Listen, hopefully people can learn from this situation. Cameron is a walking red flag. So if you ever encounter anybody who is behaving in a similar way or saying similar things, just keep in mind Cameron. All right. And then, hopefully this is a teaching moment. And those of you that, that unfortunately, very rightfully, don't like how uncomfortable it is. This is unfortunately, this kinds of things that I think lots of people deal with all the time in real life.
Yeah. To be clear,
here we are in the Big Brother house.
Yeah, this is as a television character, this is entertaining. But as a human, run from people like this. Like I said, we should all be, and I was dead serious, we should all be sending positive vibes to Riley because she is in the presence of somebody who has a skill for these, I will say, some toxic traits of, attachment styles and whatnot. I won't make any large accusations. I'm not going to call him a serial killer, even though they said it, not me. But you know what I'm saying? Like, there is definitely a reason why if you are experiencing something like this, it could be misconstrued as love or that somebody cares about you when it's really not that. So just be careful, look around. If you have friends like this, I'm not saying go directly and tell them because those be the friends that go back and tell them. But you know what I'm saying? Just handle these people with care because sometimes they have ulterior motives. I will just say that.
All right. Well, that's about where things stood as of last night, of course. Things were already starting to get, game talky this morning as we were doing this update. So, again, stay tuned for tomorrow's update where I'll give you all of the latest from everything that's happening here, including, again, Jared's position as a mole may be compromised after what Cameron told Riley last night. So, there's a lot going on, a lot that could continue to shift and change. Of course, we're going to have the Stock Watch Roundtable tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern. First one of the season. There's tons to talk about, especially from a strategic standpoint. So lots to get into regarding these alliances and where things stand and all of that, and to talk about each player individually and how well we think they are doing. If you want to fill out the survey, I will be tweeting it out after this podcast. I didn't have time to make it before this, but I'm going to make the survey and then you can take it. So it might take a little bit for me to get that ready for you, but we'll tweet it out over on Twitter at Armstrong Taran. You can fill out the survey, rate the players yourselves, say who's your favorite, who's your least favorite, stuff like that, how well the season's going for you. And then tonight we'll talk through all of it. We'll rate the players, and then we'll kick off the Stock Watch game over at realitystockwatch.com if you want to play along. Hey, when else are you going to have an opportunity to buy shares of Suri in a game, right? I mean, come on. So make sure you tune in for all of that. And then, of course, on Wednesday, we'll be back, which is tomorrow. We'll be back with another episode and recap. Veto stuff going on tomorrow night. So tune in for all of that. Find me over on Twitch. I'll be streaming stuff. Luckily for my own sanity, I wasn't streaming last night as I was watching Cameron, but maybe it would have been funny. So you never know what you're going to get over there on Twitch. Chappell, what do you got going on?
I got a lot going on right now, Taran. But first and foremost, thank you for having me. You know, I only do one of these a season, but I've told you, Suri is here, so you have me at your beck and call. If you say, come, I'm running through this house like the Tomb Raider. Okay, we're gonna talk about Suri every chance we get. Okay, but in the meantime, you can catch me on Rob Has a Podcast as the co-host of the Nothing But Netflix podcast with Rob Sesternino, where every week we talk about a different Netflix show. So tune in to Nothing But Netflix and follow at Nothing But RHAP on Twitter to keep up with what we're going to talk about this week. On Silent Podcast, I will be guesting on the Make It Work podcast with Gia, Naomi, and TikTok Nicole to talk about Project Runway, because there's a good crossover episode with Below Deck. And so they're coming on there. And so I will be a guest to talk about the crossover for Project Runway and Below Deck. Also, Sasha and I host a Below Deck podcast on Rob Has a Podcast, Big Deck Energy. We go live on YouTube at 2 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. And so check that out. It's a great time. The show is cracked. And I got a lot to say about that. And Sasha is amazing. And so Sasha's the captain. I'm the chief entertainment officer. And it's always a good time over there on the Big Deck Energy podcast. Also, Sasha and I host a Never Have I Ever recap podcast on Silent Podcast. And so if you are a fan of Never Have I Ever, you've watched the show, we're covering season 4 right now. We are 2 podcasts away from the entire season being done. So you can catch up with us on Never Have I Ever by Silent Podcast, wherever you get your podcasts. On post-show recaps, Mari Forth, y'all's favorite Mari, and I are hosting a rap shit recap for an HBO show, Issa Rae's own rap shit. It was supposed to come out this week, but we have been informed that due to the writer's strike, they pushed it back. But go subscribe to to the Connect on PSR, or the Connect on Post Show Recaps, to keep up with all the positive Black shit that me, Mari, and LaTanya be talking about on there. We've done Insecure, we've done Atlanta, we've done Swarm, like I said, all the good Black stuff. Oh, Snowfall, great time. So check out all of that and more on the Connect on Post Show Recaps. And then Taran, of course, whenever Rob has me on to talk about Big Brother, I will be there as well. So people can follow me on Twitter at Chappells_show. And I will tweet out all the links to that. Also did a guest spot on Traders New Zealand. So that's fun. So you can find that on the Silent Podcast feed, hosted by Sarah Carradine and Sean. And so, again, I'm all over the place, but I'm having a great time, and I'm happy to be here with you. Thank you again.
All right. Well, thank you all so much for joining us here today. I hope I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was worth it. And I'll see all of you next time, but I will leave you with this one more time.
And I love Riley. Good God Almighty. I'm weird about the way that I feel, because she reminds me of my kid.
But you know
it's
what?
Fucking weird.
But you know what? Like, maybe I'm a cold ass bitch,
know,
but I don't care.
But it's not my